when a group of friends come together for a trip, it really ever ends well. This is what we've seen to be the trend in American horror or thriller movies. Now, Triggered is a South African produced film that has drawn its inspiration from this trend. How did it go? I can't stay. In Triggered, we meet a group of 9 friends who come together to celebrate their friendship. Now, strangely enough, they don't know that they're actually falling into a trap that has been set by their high school science teacher, and they now have to find a way to survive this one night in the woods by sacrificing each other. This science teacher, his child was friends with these 9 kids, and he then died of an overdose at a party that was held by one of the kids, right, Ezra, as we come to know it in the film.
Yeah.
So he then is upset because he never got to find out really what killed his son, because he didn't believe that it was an accident or whatever. He really believed that his child was murdered, and he believed also that the friends would be the ones to, tell him the truth about what really happened to his child.
Yeah.
So so that's the reason why he then straps these bombs on their chest. He wanted them to, because they pretty much watched his child die and did nothing about it. He wanted them to really test if they were really friends, because they weren't really a friend to his child, and if they were, then he would have known the truth about the cause of his death. So that's where then it gets very, very interesting.
Wow.
What did you think about it?
I'm underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm so underwhelmed. Well, guys,
let's start from the beginning. What was it about it that, made you feel very underwhelmed?
I was confused.
Okay.
I was confused from how it starts, Yes, it's their high school teacher who just kills everybody, pretty much, And for me, I was like, okay, I can see you're gonna kill people. Now you're gonna kill kids, okay. It makes sense, there are high school, recently there was a high school teacher that was in the headlines for being part of a knockout. That, and then now I was confused as to why these kids, why the man that was killed, and okay, so it's just everywhere. And it was there's no story that builds. There's no build up to a story. There's no, man, you just lost.
Yeah.
You're just lost.
I get that feeling as well. Well, I got that feeling as well. First of all, for me, it was very predictable. I get it, they've been inspired by the American movies, that are also of the same kind of feel, where a bunch of kids come together, either they're going on vacation or, whatever the case may be, maybe a reunion, maybe they're going into a haunted house and they're trying to revive, those Ouija type movies. Yeah. But this one for me was very underwhelming because, I share the same opinion as he does. It was just a bit confused. You almost didn't really get it. Sure, this high school teacher, I think for me, it threw me off with the high school teacher who's coming in, and you are upset at this group of teenagers who are now no longer teenagers, young adults. You're mad at them for something that they witnessed 5 years prior, right? So for me, it was okay, but I don't know. I just didn't understand the anger leading to the point where he wanted them to fight each other to survive, they literally had to kill each other off because the bombs that they had strapped to their bodies had a timer, and each of them had a different time, and that was indicative of how much time they had to live, until they discover that they can steal each other's time by killing each other off. So it was okay, I get that, it's very Saw vibes.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
actually
also
had that too.
Yeah, it was very Saw vibey, but it was also we know who is actually going to outlive everyone. I got that from the beginning. As soon as this man interacted with the kids and he said what he said, he threw insults at them, said they were entitled and whatever. I was well, when you're 18, you are entitled, you are a bit of a poop head. So you're not really going to have the sort of consciousness and thoughtfulness that an adult will have, So it was very predictable from that engagement who from that group of kids would actually survive. So it was a little bit boring, man. And also it was confusing for me because this is a South African movie produced by South Africans. but these kids, they had American accents. Like, it was a thing. It was as if I was watching a movie produced overseas, you know. So that was also very weird for me. I didn't understand why that was, you know. So I think that also just put me off. I was like, oh gosh, the American accents, why, you know. So I didn't quite enjoy that about it. It was just, I just wish I wish it was more exciting, less predictable, more exciting, even with like what connected these kids and the secret that they were hiding and why this man was in there. Like, I think it would have been fun if it's just a random person. Like, let's copy the massacres that we've seen in American movies. Let's just copy that. A random person who just wanders the woods trying to kill kids because they were also together because there was a football match over the weekend. So everything, all the references were American. There was no, okay, soccer, Bafana. No, there's no Bafana. Man,
like, strangely enough, even the numbers to call the police.
Yeah, man.
911, guys, really.
No,
really.
Like, I didn't understand why they really had to move away from South Africa so much.
Yeah,
you know, when, I don't know, maybe they can tell us when you guys see this, maybe tell us. Yeah, like, what scene would you say was like your favorite scene that like stood out for you?
I just like the fact that it also exposes how cruel kids can be, you know. That's where Ryan has a dialogue with Erin, you know? And they talk about how Erin's boyfriend was murdered. So Ryan actually confessed to murdering Erin's boyfriend, you know. And now that, to me, it that's where I got confused. I got confused, but I like that scene whereby before you die, you know,
you tell the truth.
You tell the truth. It all comes out. That guilt conscience comes about, and it just takes over you, you know. Yeah, I liked how the plot twisted from Kato being the antagonist, being the wrong person, suddenly becomes vindicated.
For me, it was really Kato, when Kato was like really getting into it, you know.
Yeah.
It showed just how, which is something that they made very clear as well, that like, you know, when you do have a motive, you know, to actually kill someone else in order to survive, you will do it, you know. And with Kato, you know, he really took on that role, you know. He played, when he needed to play dumb to survive, he played dumb. When he needed to step up, he stepped up. And also just with his dying moment, you know, he was like, I'm gonna die on my own terms, you know, because his timer was reaching its end and he was also going to explode, but he obviously was too much of a coward. He didn't actually kill himself off. He allowed the timer to go off. But that, for me, just seeing his growth, you know, because anyway, he was like the poop hole of the group, you know, so he really played into that character, you know, manipulating people. And yeah, it was just that. It was just like, you know, as a person, when you are pushed into a circumstance where you have to bring out your worst self, you will definitely do it, especially when your life is at stake.
But with that being said, how many Biltong steaks would you give it?
I'm gonna give it 2.5. So how many Biltong steaks would you give?
I'd just give it 2 Biltong steaks.
So our average is 2.5. Yeah, if you've also seen it, let us know what you think. You know, maybe we're just being too harsh and you have a, you know, a refined perspective compared to ours. Maybe ours is a bit rough and too judgmental, but yeah, just let us know. Give us, leave us your thoughts in the comments section down below.
Local. Yeah, and if you have a South African movie or an African movie series or docu that you would like us to review, let us know in the comments. I'm Gomo.
And I'm Demi. And this is the Biltong Review. Thank you for watching.